Today we are going to talk on a very important topic, which is lateral thinking. Now, when I talk about lateral thinking, many of you might be thinking that how is it different from our traditional thinking? But lateral thinking is something which all of us do, and during these COVID-19 times, most of us are doing it for a very long time, or in our various aspects of life. So now, what is lateral thinking? I start with the origin of this concept. Lateral thinking is a term which was coined by Edward de Bono in 1967 in his famous book, The Use of Lateral Thinking. Instead of a step-by-step approach to problem solving, he suggested a sideway or alternate approach. Now, when we talk about a sideway or an alternate approach, what is that? What actually is that? Now, to explain it, I would like to give some examples. Enter. Next slide. Now, how to do lateral thinking? What is it? Lateral thinking is walking down a different path. Walking down a different path means whenever you reach a destination, most of the times you follow a traditional path or you follow the set route of journey. But when you try to reach that destination by a different path, which might be a shortcut, but which might be involving a lot of trekking, or say it might be going through a dense forest. So that would involve some kind of lateral thinking. It is climbing a mountain from the other side. Other side means the side which is always used by the climbers. It is climbing the mountain from the other side. It is crossing a river swimming against the tide. It is looking at a problem from a different angle. Lateral thinking helps you to look at a problem from a different angle. Now, lateral thinking is actually creative thinking or out of the box thinking. When you try to find out solutions in a non-traditional manner, or when you try to find out solutions for a particular problem out of the box, out of the traditional available choices, then you are actually doing lateral thinking. Nowadays, most of us are doing lateral thinking. When we have to go out, we keep a sanitizer in our pocket. We used to have a mask, face cover. Some people innovate in that. Some people design their own face cover. Some people use a big cloth and tie it very nicely in a very nice manner. And when they reach their destination, they use it like a handkerchief. So there are various ways how we are stocking supplies in our house, how we are stocking our ration, how we are buying vegetables. Some people are using a different kind of ball in the gate of their house where they put everything and they keep it there for a certain period of time so that the risk of the virus transmitting is negated. So we are all doing lateral thinking. We are doing lateral thinking to pass our time. How to get past this time. We have all started pursuing our hobbies, which we have stopped practicing way back. When we might be doing it when we were in college. So we all are doing a lot of lateral thinking nowadays. Because this is a situation which requires a lot of creativity, a lot of lateral thinking. Next, please. Now, what is lateral thinking? Lateral thinking is closely related to insight, creativity, and humor. It is a way of using time for logical thinking, but in a different way. Lateral thinking is concerned with the generation of new ideas. When I say that what is lateral thinking, I would just explain it in one line, that it is the generation of new ideas. Now, how to generate new ideas? Whenever you are faced with a problem, you always have one solution that has already been tried and tested. This time, after this session, whenever you face a problem, you should try to find an alternate solution, a new solution, which might seem risky, but that might give you a new perspective towards solving that problem. Then, now I have listed down certain techniques, lateral thinking techniques for school education. Because I customize my sessions as per the requirements of the department, and since it is for school education, so I would like to share some techniques of lateral thinking which can be practiced in our schools. Now the first is ask open-ended questions, and create an inquisitive environment. We should encourage our students to ask open-ended questions. Now, all of you might be aware of what are open-ended questions, but I will just repeat it for the sake of explanation. That those questions which do not have fixed answer as yes or no, they are open-ended questions. Whenever you might have filled a questionnaire, there are questions which have the answer as yes or no, or in which the options are limited or restricted. But when you deal with the students, you should encourage them. You should ask them open-ended questions. How do you like my class? Whether you have been able to get this topic or not. Such kind of things, because this will help in creating an inquisitive environment in your classes. It will encourage the students to be creative. It will help them in expanding their horizons. Next technique is ask them to write a story or a drama and narrate it with their respective roles. We all give various kinds of tasks to the students. I have a suggestion that whenever we give them an assignment, we should try to divide them in groups. And we can ask them to write a story or to write a drama. And we can observe as to how many students start taking the lead in that group. Suppose one student writes one line or two about a story. We encourage the other student to finish or to just extend it or to extend the idea. So this can be one technique of encouraging the creativity among the students. How to start your day with creativity? By sharing a good thought. Most of the teachers are doing this, that we encourage those students to start the class with a positive thought or by sharing a good quotation. We also ask the students to write a quotation in the blackboard also. That is also we do. That is a very nice thing. So we must encourage our students to start their day with creativity by sharing a good thought, by sharing a positive idea. Some of your colleagues are doing excellent creative thinking, excellent lateral thinking. I know about a teacher who wakes up at 4 a.m. in the morning and goes around the entire village, waking up the students and encouraging them to start studying. So this is an example of lateral thinking. I have visited a school which is a model school again, where the principal, in order to get important things for the school, has taken a lot of help from the civil society, has taken a lot of help from the panchayat members. Without just complaining about resources, he had done this lateral thinking and arranged so many things for the school. So many of us are doing lateral thinking. There are, in one way or other, we are all are trying to find solutions for the problems in a new way, in a creative way. Give an instance from your personal life when you had solved an issue with lateral thinking. Now, since it is not possible to interact with you or interact with every one of you, I would like to just, after this session, after these two sessions are over, just think about, in your entire life, how many times you have solved problems with lateral thinking? How many times you have tried to find a creative solution to a particular problem, not the traditional solution? So that will help in encouraging your lateral thinking. That will help in encouraging your creativity. Just we have to think about our past life. And I'm sure that we all have various instances in which our creativity has helped in solving the problems. Not only problems related with our professional life, but also problems related with our personal life. How to deal with our children, how to deal with our family. Now a simple example. Your son or your daughter commits a mistake. Now what is the traditional solution? The traditional solution is scolding the child or reprimanding him for his actions. This is the traditional solution. Many parents do that. They start scolding the child. Some of them might even beat them. But what is a non-traditional solution? What is a creative solution? The creative solution is to talk peacefully to the child and find out why he or she has committed that mistake. That will involve a lot of creativity. In the morning, as we are leaving the house, there is some kind of altercation with the husband or a wife. Now the traditional solution is just you pick up your bag and leave for your office without even talking. And don't talk for 2 or 3 days. And the problem goes bigger and grows bigger and bigger. But what is creative thinking? Creative thinking is when in the evening you return with a bouquet of flowers, or you return with her favorite dish, or you return with a small gift, and the entire mood changes. Whatever has happened has been forgotten, and you again move ahead in life. So creativity, this lateral thinking helps us in solving a lot of personal as well as professional problems. And whenever you feel that you have run out of solutions, you are not getting solutions to your problems, just look back at your past life. Just think about your college days. Just think about your school days. How you were able to find out creative solutions for your problems. Now there is a simple exercise. I give this exercise in the when we take the offline sessions. But now also I would request you, if it is possible, to do this exercise if you are having a pen and a paper. Now, there is a simple exercise. Draw a circle. Draw a triangle inside the circle. Draw a square in the corner. Write your name on the paper. Very simple exercise. I would repeat the instructions. Draw a circle. Draw a triangle inside the circle. Draw a square in the corner. Write your name on the paper. Now, when you will do this, all of you will be, when you will be doing this, and when after some time I will ask, what is the sort of picture that everybody has drawn? And in all probability, I will find out that all of you had drawn different kind of picture. The outcome will be different. Why? Again, to explain this, I will move to the next slide. This same exercise that I have given, now I am giving it with more instructions, and the instructions are more clear. Draw a circle 4 inches in diameter in the center of your paper. Draw a triangle inside the circle so that all 3 corners are touching the circle. Draw a 1 inch square on the bottom left corner of your paper. Write your name on the bottom right side of the paper. I would again repeat the instructions. Draw a circle 4 inches in diameter in the center of your paper. Draw a triangle inside the circle so that all the 3 corners are touching the circle. Draw a 1 inch square on the bottom left corner of your paper. Write your name on the bottom right side of the paper. Now, in case of both these exercises, in the second slide, when the instructions are more clear, all of you will draw the same kind of picture. There will be absolutely no difference between the pictures drawn by the various participants. Now, what is the reason? The reason is the instructions are very clear. The instructions are very precise. In the first case, the instructions were not that much clear. And we all love this second situation. We all love that we must get clear instructions. We love this situation. We are more comfortable. But our creativity is restricted in this situation. In the first case, we had more scope for creativity. We had more scope for lateral thinking. But our mind is conditioned for getting instructions. And we ourselves enjoy that situation. We really appreciate when we go to a building and it is written turn left, then it is written turn right, then turn left, then turn right, and suddenly we find that we are out of that building. But we love that situation. We love to get instructions. But we don't recognize that these instructions are hampering our creativity. They are blocking our lateral thinking. So, whenever you give exercises to the students, I would request that try to reshape those exercises, try to mold those exercises in such a manner that it brings out the creativity, it brings out the lateral thinking among the students. Our mind is a pattern making system. The information system of the mind acts to create patterns and to recognize them. Our mind is a very powerful organ and it memorizes everything. You got stuck in a problem when you were appearing for your examination and you had to prepare for your examination and you started that and you decided that out of the 5 units I am going to only study 3 units with complete attention, and of the last 2 units I will try to study the important questions. Now your mind is conditioned that out of the 5 units you choose 3 units. Next time, whenever you are appearing for examination and you are faced with a similar situation, you will do the same thing. You will try to pick out 3 units which are very easy or which are convenient for you to study. So mind is a pattern making system. Even your behavioral response to various situations, they all get conditioned, they all get imprinted in your mind. And whenever you are faced with a similar situation, your mind just goes back to that previous database and gets that solution and brings it to you. And you accept that solution with your whole heart and implement it. The drops of rain are similar but create various patterns depending on the surface. The drops of rain are similar but they create a different pattern on the surface. They fall. So any particular way of looking at things is only one from among many other possible ways. Whatever way we are looking at things, there is always an alternate angle. And we as teachers should always appreciate that angle. There might be a student in our class, we all have such students in every class, who is always, when you see his face, his or her face, you find as if you believe as if he is lost in something. But when we interact with him or when we interact with her, we find out that they are doing a different kind of thinking. Their angle of looking at the problems is different from what we are trying to tell them. Now, and most of us, we feel that he is doing something which is not as per the discipline. I would make a humble suggestion that whenever you find such a student, you try to find out his or her mindset, that why they are thinking in that manner, in that particular manner. What is their logic? Now, when we do that, it is very much possible that our own perspective might change as a result of their logic. And we as teachers, sometimes we feel it difficult to accept that we can make a change to our perspective. But I must humbly submit that it will help you a lot. If the situation arises and you feel that the particular student has a better way of looking at things, we must not feel hesitant to accept it. We must accept it and we must implement it also the next time whenever we take that class. Now, what are the stages of creative thinking or stages of lateral thinking? Whenever you start doing lateral thinking, these are the stages that you experience: preparation, cultivation, incubation, illumination, and verification. Out of it, the first stage is preparation. The problem is chosen and then defined and redefined to expand the spectrum of possible solutions. Preparation. The problem is chosen and then defined and redefined to expand the spectrum of possible solutions. Problem is, I am not getting 100% result in my school. This is the problem. Now I define it. Why I am not getting 100% result or why I am not getting 90% result? Define and redefine. My teachers are working hard, but the students are not responding, or vice versa. Or there is lack of discipline, or there is lack of punctuality, or there is lack of determination among the students. What is the reason? I start thinking about it. I start working on it. Cultivation, application of creative thinking techniques and generation of ideas. You start finding out solutions. You start generating ideas. Oh, my school is not performing well. Okay, what may be the solution? Okay, I will request my teachers to come on time. I will request my teachers to take extra classes. I will motivate my students to work harder. I will try to take the use of techniques. I will try to invite guest lecturers. I will try to invite motivational speakers. So many solutions, so many generation of ideas. Your mind starts generating lots and lots of ideas. Then incubation. Third stage is incubation. This stage is characterized by abandoning the idea and giving yourself a break. But the subconscious mind is working and you might end up with the solution in this stage itself. Now, incubation is a very interesting stage. In this stage, you try to give yourself a break. You abandon the idea, you forget about the problem, and you start watching a movie. You start listening to a song, or you go on a long drive. But your subconscious mind is working on that problem. And suddenly, you might get a solution in this stage itself. There is a very interesting example of Otto Loewi, an Austrian pharmacologist who conceived in a dream a simple and elegant experiment that proved the chemical mediation of a nerve impulse and led to the discovery of acetylcholine, a discovery responsible for securing him the Nobel Prize. So this happens. Your subconscious mind is working and you might get a solution, or you might get a solution in the next stage, which is illumination. Now, illumination, as the stage suggests, it is the eureka moment. Eureka moment, and suddenly the solution comes to your mind. It may be a moment, it may be a day or longer than that, whenever you get that solution. But finally, when you do a lot of creative thinking, when you do a lot of lateral thinking, you try to verify it. Verification. You try to, this stage is the last stage when you are back to your logical thinking and try to verify the idea on the basis of already established principles. You have found out a solution, but you try to verify it on the basis of already existing principles, so that there is no scope of any kind of failure. You just want to check that your solution is perfect or your solution is as per the requirement of your problem. As simple as this. Then, now there is a difference between vertical and lateral thinking. Sometimes we feel that we are doing lateral thinking, but actually we are not doing lateral thinking. We are doing vertical thinking, which is the traditional thinking or logical thinking. It is called by various names. So we need to understand the difference between vertical thinking and lateral thinking. Vertical thinking is selective. Lateral thinking is generative. Vertical thinking is selective. You select out of the various options available, and those options are already in your mind, or you know them by your experience, or you know them by somebody's reference, but they are already in your mind. But lateral thinking is generative. You generate a new idea, you generate a new solution. That is lateral thinking. A simple example is choice of a tourist destination. We want to go for a family picnic. What are the solutions? We always move around the familiar places that we have already been around. But we must try to find out a new place where we had not gone earlier. This is a very simple thing of doing a little bit of lateral thinking. Vertical thinking is analytical. Lateral thinking is provocative. Lateral thinking provokes you. It provokes the already existing beliefs. It provokes the already existing principles. Newton, Einstein. So many people have seen that the apple is falling from the tree on the ground. But there is a person, Newton, he thinks that there is a force which is pulling it. Vertical thinking is sequential. Lateral thinking can make jumps. Now, very simple example. Cricket is our favorite sport. Most of us follow cricket. Now, when we watch the batting style of Sachin Tendulkar and Virendra Sehwag, whenever in a class I ask people, who is your favorite cricketer? Most of them say that Sachin Tendulkar. But when I ask them which cricketer is more entertaining, then most of them say it is Virendra Sehwag. Now what is the reason? The reason is he was not afraid of taking risks. At the score of 294, he is about a triple century. What he does, he just hits a six and gets a triple century. Now the traditional thinking is whenever a batsman enters the 90s, he is supposed to play in a very cautious manner so that he doesn't get out before getting a century. But he always broke that tradition, Virendra Sehwag, and scored a lot of runs. We enjoy his batting style. Of course, our favorite may be Sachin Tendulkar. But that happens. Then, vertical thinking has to be correct at every step. In lateral thinking, that is not the case. When we do vertical thinking, we always go step by step and we always verify that the first step is correct and then next step and then next step. But in lateral thinking, that is not the case. The singing of Kishore Kumar, he was not a classically trained singer, but he was very entertaining, very successful, and we still remember his songs. That is because of lateral thinking. Vertical thinking follows the most likely paths. Lateral thinking explores the least likely. Vertical thinking follows the traditional path. Lateral thinking explores the least likely, which had not been treaded earlier. Gautam Buddha, Mahavir. Two great men started two great religions because they decided to follow a new path. They decided to leave the traditional things and try to find out a new way of life. And they propounded a new religion. Now the use of lateral thinking. Always we try to find out, okay, if I am safe by doing by thinking, if it is safe to go by our traditional thinking, why should we go for lateral thinking? Now, before I move ahead in my presentation, any of you would like to add something or would like to ask some questions? For 1 or 2 minutes, please. Anyone would like to share something or ask a question? Okay, so I move ahead with my presentation. I was talking about the use of lateral thinking. What is the use of lateral thinking? The first and foremost, it is useful for generation of new ideas. It helps us in generating new ideas for solving our personal as well as professional problems. Then problem solving, of course, periodic reassessment. It helps in our reassessment. It helps in reassessing our personality. It helps in reassessing our way of life. It helps in reassessing our attitude. It helps in reassessing our knowledge. And it helps in prevention of sharp divisions and polarizations. Sometimes our mind is just, it is restricted by sharp divisions. It is lateral thinking which comes to our rescue and which helps us in preventing these polarizations. Now, what are the techniques of lateral thinking? There are some very interesting techniques of lateral thinking. The first and foremost is challenging the assumptions. You have to challenge assumptions. Gautam Buddha challenged the assumptions. He was born in a royal family and it was assumed that he will live a royal life and all kinds of worldly pleasures were provided to him. But he challenged the assumptions that no, this is not the real essence of life. The real essence of life is something else. And he went on to propagate a new religion, Buddhism, which still exists till this day. Similarly, Mahavir Jain. Similarly, so many people who have challenged the already existing assumptions. So that is one way of lateral thinking. You challenge the assumptions. Wherever something is told to you, you find out, you ask question, why is it so? Why this has been always? And when you challenge the assumptions, you start doing lateral thinking. Then suspended judgment. Delaying of judgment instead of applying it immediately. An idea will survive longer and will breed further ideas. Others will offer ideas which their own judgment would have rejected. The frame of reference would need altering. There is a frame of reference. Whenever we encounter a problem or whenever we meet a person, we express our opinion about him or her without giving it a second thought. Sometimes it happens that the person is not the way which we are thinking. So we have to suspend our judgment. Please suspend your judgment. Don't be judgmental at the first instance. Give some time to your thought process. Give some time for your idea to mature. Ask others also about what they feel. Whenever you are taking a meeting in your school, this will be very useful for you. This will help you in doing a lot of lateral thinking. Then the frame of reference would need altering. Whenever we are encountering a problem, there is a frame of reference. Now I will be talking about this frame of reference when I will be giving some examples. There is another interesting technique, that is fractionation. Now fractionation is dividing the problem into small manageable units. Whenever you are faced with a problem, try to divide it into small manageable units. A very simple example is the way we prepare for our examinations. We prepare for our examinations by dividing our syllabus into small manageable units. And we prepare for them. There are one or two units which we are not comfortable with. We depend on our luck. If there is a question from that portion, we might not score in that section. But we try to divide the entire problem into small manageable units, and it helps us in doing a lot of lateral thinking. Then the reversal method. In this method, one takes things as they are and then turns them around, inside out, upside down, back to front. It is a provocative rearrangement of information. Now to explain the reversal method, I would give a very simple example. A very old story you all might have heard. We all have heard the story of the bird who dropped the stones in a jug half filled with water to bring the water level up and then drink. Whereas the traditional thought process says that the bird will first try to take water out of the jug rather than putting something into it. A classic example of reversal method. A bird who was just flying around and who was very thirsty, they saw a water in a jug which was half filled with water. She could not reach it out because of her long beak. So what she does, she puts a stone and the water level comes out. A very simple story. Now what was our traditional thought process? Our traditional thought process was to try to first get water out of it. But the reversal method is first put stones in it, put something into it, and you will get water out of it. Similarly, in our schools, whenever we expect something from the students, we need to first put a lot of efforts from our side and then expect something from them. So this reversal method is a very interesting method. Then there is brainstorming. Brainstorming is a very prevalent method in private sector companies. In this, there are a number of people and one needs to move to a new arrangement of information, which is a provocation which produces some effect. People, they gather in a room, a problem is put in front of them, and they all start offering solutions. Everybody is free to offer any solution. Nobody's solution is laughed upon. Everybody is encouraged to put forward as many solutions as they can. And after the time is over, there is a moderator, there is a note taker, and they follow up and do the evaluation and try to find out which is the best solution. Then there is an analogy. Another important technique of lateral thinking is analogy. An analogy is a simple story or situation when compared to something else. Now there is a problem of ensuring adequate water supply for your city. You are the engineer related to water supply, and you have to ensure adequate water supply for your city. What is the analogy? You think about a similar situation. You think about a similar situation in your life when you have to distribute chocolates among your schoolmates when you were in school and you were short of chocolates. There were 50 chocolates and there were 70 students. How you did it? It would involve a lot of creativity. Then Now I will try to give you some lateral thinking puzzles. Now, when in a classroom we are doing this, we have a lot of interaction, but I will just try to explain you these puzzles and the logic behind them. A father and his son are involved in a car accident, as a result of which the father is very badly injured and his son is rushed to hospital for emergency surgery. However, the surgeon takes one look at the boy and says, I cannot operate on him. When asked why, the surgeon replies, because he is my son. How could this be the case? Now, whenever I ask this question in a class, people give a lot of answers. That the son is his grandson, or he might not be the grandfather, so many things. The answer is, the surgeon is the boy's mother. The surgeon is the boy's mother. Now, some of you might get this answer very quickly. But in a class, when I ask this question, people have trouble in getting this answer. Now, why they have trouble? Because their frame of reference is restricted. The frame of reference is that a surgeon cannot be, or in all probability, may not be a female. So their thought process is restricted. They have changed their thought process. This is a kind of a mental block. And because of it, you cannot get the right answer. That the surgeon is the boy's mother. Similarly, there is another puzzle, a very simple puzzle. Acting on an anonymous phone call, the police raid a house to arrest a suspected murderer. They don't know what he looks like, but they know his name is John. Inside they find a carpenter, a lorry driver, a car mechanic, and a fireman playing cards. Without even asking his name, they immediately arrest the fireman. How do they know they have got their man? Now again, when I ask this question, people give a lot of answers. But the simple answer is, only the fireman is the man and all others are women. Now again, the frame of reference. What is the frame of reference? Our frame of reference is that a carpenter, a lorry driver, a car mechanic, these are traditional male professions. And how could a female be a fireman, or how could a female be a carpenter, a lorry driver? But in many European countries, you will find women doing all these things. So again, this hampers our lateral thinking because our frame of reference needs altering. Then there is a humorous puzzle. A man rode into town on a Monday. He stayed for 3 nights and then left on a Monday. How come? Now, when I ask this question, the answer is a bit humorous. It involves a lot of humor. Now we are afraid of using humor in our creativity because we feel that there is a lot of seriousness in our working and it should not be disturbed. The answer to this puzzle is, the name of the horse is Monday. The name of the horse is Monday. So a man rode into town on a Monday. He stayed for 3 nights and then left on a Monday. So this is possible. Now you will get the answer only when you have a certain bit of humor in your thinking. You are not afraid of laughing. You are not afraid of finding out the humorous angle in various things. Then, who is a lateral thinker? In order to become a lateral thinker, I would like to share some examples. I would like to share some examples of people belonging to various fields who have done a lot of lateral thinking. And I start with the great lateral thinker, our Lord Sri Krishna. The planning of Mahabharata, motivating Arjun, strategizing for the removal of Bhishma, Karna, Dronacharya from the battlefield. These all are examples of lateral thinking. The entire Gita, when you listen to the discourse between Krishna and Arjun keeps on asking lots and lots of questions. The way Bhagavan Sri Krishna answers them, this is all example of lateral thinking. Then, from the contemporary times, I would like to give the example of Chanakya, Swami Vivekananda. Who could have imagined a person from India going to the World Council of Religions in 1893 in Chicago? Nobody knew an Indian, but he went there with some help and participated in it. And we still remember Swami Vivekananda for his knowledge and for his wisdom. Mahatma Gandhi, our beloved father of the nation, lateral thinking. He knew that the mighty British Empire cannot be fought with weapons. He knew that it was not possible to defeat the Britishers by violence. So he did a lot of lateral thinking and he devised a new way of satyagraha, that is, request for the truth, non-violence. And this method is being accepted worldwide. After Mahatma Gandhi preached this idea of non-violence, there was not a single revolution in the entire world which was not following his ideas. So Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose, at the same time, he founded the Indian National Army, and he was also working for the independence of our country. Mr. J.R.D. Tata, a great industrialist who has established Jamshedpur and the first iron and steel company. He was challenged by a Britisher that you Indians, you cannot make a block of iron. He accepted the challenge, went around the world, got the expertise for an iron and steel company, and you all know the rest of the story. The Tata Group is still a very reputed group in our country. Then, few more examples: Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha, our great ethnic scientist; Dr. Vikram Sarabhai; Mr. Varghese Kurian, the founder of Amul, the milk revolution, the white revolution as we call it. Still, we all enjoy Amul products. He was responsible for devising out the entire strategy of cooperative federation and trying to get the milk out from all the villages. And he was responsible for all these things. From the military, General S.F.J. Manekshaw, who was responsible for India's win in the 1971 war against Pakistan and for the creation of Bangladesh. Mr. Kapil Dev, from the cricketing field. Most of us nowadays we talk about Mr. MS Dhoni or Virat Kohli, but the first person who started aggressive captaincy was Mr. Kapil Dev, and under whose captaincy we won the 1983 World Cup. So another example of lateral thinking, our Honorable ex-Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. As an economist, he was responsible for all these liberalization, privatization, and globalization norm reforms, and which the country is still having. The benefits of which we are still reaping. Mr. Satyajit Ray, the great filmmaker who was honored by Oscars. Mr. Guru Dutt for his great movies. Mr. Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, who made the Terminator series. Mr. A.R. Rahman. They all are lateral thinkers. Why I am naming them? Because they all are lateral thinkers. They all have done wonders in their profession because of lateral thinking. They all inspire us to change our traditional way of looking at things, try to generate new solutions to our problems, try to challenge the assumptions, try to break the problem into manageable units, and solve the problem in a different manner. Now, how to think laterally? How to develop lateral thinking? I would make a humble suggestion that most of us are lateral thinkers. Most of us have creativity in us. The only important thing is to get it out of our minds. The only important thing is to start thinking laterally and leave our traditional methods. And for that, read as much as you can. When you read a lot, you get lots and lots of new ideas. Read everything, whatever you can get. Read as many newspapers as you can. Read as many magazines, novels, everything. Because when you read, lots and lots of you get a new perspective towards ideas, which encourages your lateral thinking. Write whenever you feel like writing. Sometimes we feel that, oh, I have created these 2 lines. This is a very nice poem. Just write it down. Nowadays in our mobile also we have that notes in which you can just write it down. So write whenever you feel like writing. Speak when words start pouring from your mind. Whenever you are speaking and when words start pouring from your mind, don't restrict your thoughts. Just give a vent to your thoughts. Of course, in a disciplined manner, but you must not restrict your thoughts. Think about yourself, your family, your society, your country, your environment. The more and more you think, the more and more you change your way of thinking, the more you start thinking laterally. Feel the fresh aroma of earth after rain. There are some simple joys of life. There are some simple bits of happiness which are being spread here and there. Feel the fresh aroma of rain after when the rain falls on the earth after the summer season. Wave at a school child who is just passing by your car. Wave at him or her, and you will get a lot of positive energy. You will get a lot of new ideas, alternatives. Look for different ways to solve problems in your personal life as well as in your professional life. After this session, whenever you have, suppose, a disagreement with your wife, don't follow the traditional route. The traditional route was you also got angry, she also got angry, and the whole issue dragged upon for many days. Now, whenever there is a disagreement, you just sit with your wife or your husband and you resolve the issue at the same moment. It is a very natural response that whenever we get angry, we stop talking. No, next time, whenever there is a disagreement, you must ensure that we will talk about it. And when you talk, you find that after some time, you both will start laughing. And that issue might seem very unimportant to you. That issue might seem very trivial to you. Next time your child asks you for a new cricket bat, instead of scolding him for studies, just say, okay, let us get a new cricket bat for you. Let us get a new bat. And you give him a new bat. And you watch him playing cricket. So just try to find out new alternatives. This is the only way of developing lateral thinking. Then random entry, be open to different lines of thought. Whenever somebody is offering a solution, don't just stop him. Listen to him. He might not be giving a very good solution, but at least he has certain idea about that. Just be open to different lines of thought. Turn a provocative situation into something useful. Whenever you are faced with a problem, you have got the scope for lateral thinking. That problem is an opportunity for lateral thinking. And it is very important that you do not follow the traditional path and solve that problem in a non-traditional manner. Harvesting, choose the best of your new ideas about your life. What is your vision towards life? Where do you want to go? Sometimes you feel you have a goal for, say, the next 3 months. Just write it down. Sometimes you feel a new strategy. You get a new strategy for your school, for developing your school. Just write it down. Sometimes you feel that the way you have been thinking about a particular colleague was different. Your idea was flawed. Just write it down. Okay, next time when I meet him, I will ask for this, or I will change my perception about that particular person. So choose the best of your new ideas. Whenever you get a time, you just look at those ideas and try to adopt the best. Then finally, be curious. Always be curious. If you want to become a lateral thinking or you want to develop creativity, you need to be curious. You need to be curious about the things going around you. You need to be curious about your department. Okay, we are starting new English medium schools. Okay, we are going to do it in a very nice manner. Or we are doing online classes. Okay, what are the new techniques which we can use in the online classes? What are the various service providers which give us this facility? So just be curious in your family, with your children. Be curious. When you return to your home in the evening, give them an hour. Just sit with them and talk about them. Okay, what is going on in your life? What is going on in your school? Be curious, be aware, and then you will find that a lot of creativity and lateral thinking is developing in you. Finally, in the last, I will wish all of you that you all think laterally and live happily. because creativity is very important for removing monotony from our life. Our life becomes monotonous. In these COVID-19 times, many people have done a lot of things, to lot of creative thinking to make their life happy, or to stop their life from being from becoming monotonous. All of you might have been doing the same things. So just please make sure that you do a lot of lateral thinking in your personal and professional life, and you refresh your life by new ideas, by a new perspective. This is my humble request, my humble suggestion. Now, if any one of you would like to ask some questions or would like to share something about this topic, please, any one of you. Any questions? उसको बोलते हैं। Any questions? Any observations about this topic, about this presentation? Your feedback about this presentation?
Sir, I am asking a question.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Yeah, lateral thinking is a very new thing you informed us in detail, and we got much more information about lateral thinking. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Sir, a lot of thank you.
Any questions? Okay, there are no questions. I would request, I would thank all of you for listening to this session very attentively. And I would request you to please join for the next session of conflict resolution after this, which is going to start at 4. So I will just summarize my session. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Please, I will just summarize my session. I talked about lateral thinking concept. It was the concept given by Edward de Bono, and it involves a lot of challenging assumptions, generating new alternative ideas, fractionation, and invoking your lateral thinking, involving your creativity, your insight, your humor, and not following the already established path. So I am sure that many of you will be using this session in your personal as well as professional life. I thank you. I request you to join for the next session. Thank you.